So the thought to this room is it doesn't feel like a dental office. When you come into the vision room, it's probably 80% good. The meetings in here are 80% good. So if you're somebody who works for the team and they get asked to come up to the vision room, they should have the mantra that it's going to be a good meeting. Something's going well. So the theory is we run our organization from this room. And we like it because it's far enough away that it doesn't feel like a dental office. That we can actually think about things like a business, not a dental office. Make sense? So we sit here, we have our leadership meetings in here. You guys have your own leadership meetings in here. There's 7 leaders. Dr. Jason's on the leadership team. I pretty much run the leadership team. That's my job, is to make the leaders be better with culture and confidence. That's basically my full-time job.
In our original building, we were in a really small office, and there was an operatory right next door. So when we had the leadership meetings, I could hear what was going on out there, and so I was always distracted. And some of the other leaders were too, because we could hear what was going on the floor. So this makes us get away from that, and I'm not distracted. I can just focus on the future and what we need to do, not what's going on right now.
Yeah. So kitchenette, bathroom, that's kind of what we designed it as. We run our full leadership meetings in here to do that. When we meet, I meet with the doctors. Heather and I, we meet with all 7 or 8 doctors once a month for at least a half an hour. Usually it's a half an hour to an hour. And we're going over how they're doing and seeing what's going on in their lives. We call them touch bases. And the basis of our touch bases are core values and this triangle. And this might seem a little bit, yeah, Vanna White. Nice, well done.
You're welcome.
So the theory is when you think about things and you guys are gonna start growing, I just want you guys to think about that you're gonna be, when the growth happens, you're either going into the fire, you're in the fire, or you're leaving the fire. That's the whole routine. And if you're like, man, nothing's been going wrong for a while, that's just because you're not going back into the fire yet. So the theory is you're diagnosing that things are breaking down. That's what you're doing. There's something always breaking down. And so when you go from whatever 9 chairs to 15 or 3 to 9 or 9 to whatever the number is, just be okay with accepting things are off track. You're trying to keep them on track. And so when we think about this, when we meet with our doctors for 10 years, there's something off track that they're identifying with us. You guys see this with your team too, right? Your team comes and they start talking about it, you're like, you're off track, and they're identifying it. So over the time, we realize that our doctors need to be gentle, on time. We have no drama in here. There's 70 people. We don't like drama, and you need to follow the process. Does that sound complex? Does it sound normal to you? Who's late in here? You know what I mean? Like, not because of airplanes. That's not what I mean. But I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's easy for me to say on time because I'm an on-time guy. I start at 9 o'clock because 9 o'clock means we're starting at 9. We have other doctors who like to start 9 o'clock means 9:10. So we have to teach them these skills. And you have to import them in, even if you think it's normal to you. Like appreciation. Is appreciation normal to you guys? Are you guys good at saying thank you? Do you guys write letters? Do you guys give gifts? Right? But some people are not, they were not taught that. They're more of a taker. But you can show people how to become appreciative. Do you guys agree with that? And then the next level of doctors is diagnose. They need to learn how to diagnose. They need to do a good treatment plan. They need to be the quarterback of the arena. We do transitions. That's how we talk in and out of the room, give a timeline on when to get the treatment done, and they need to be accountable. If you do those bottom 10, you're gonna be successful in here. But that's 10 years of basically somebody, like, how many meetings in a row do you have to identify they're not accountable? And then you're like, we better talk about accountability a lot. So that's what we do in here. And it's fun. Any questions? If you don't have space for this in your new place, I'd recommend being off-site for meetings. Just get out of the office, rent another hotel, has a back room like we had dinner last night, rent that, get out of your space, change up your attire, and mix it up a little bit.
So you're having individual meetings with everyone on your leadership team?
Yep.
Monthly,
Yep, 7 of them.
and the doctors?
7 of them, maybe 8 of them. I don't know how many
And
are.
your leadership team having interviews with their own teams?
Yeah, we have our own touch bases, which are exactly the same every month.
That's our routine. So like you think about when you're growing, like you're importing systems in place to keep it, because you guys realize that like 3rd generation is when things screw up. That's what, you know, like in wealth, The third generation screws it up because they never saw the person who earned the money work hard for the money. This next generation's fine with it, but then when they give to the grandkids, they're most likely to screw it up. So you think about owner doctors or this team you guys are in here, you guys are basically first generation, you're training the next generation. Their generation's always gonna be less than you. You have to tolerate that. That's the hardest part about leading, is you're 100%, they're gonna be 80 max. Then you have to tolerate the space between what you perceive as your 100 to their 80. But the next generation can't go 80 to 60. Everybody has to be the 80. Am I making sense on that? You guys have to tolerate this behavior. Like downstairs, my goal today is not completely to find everything that's wrong. My natural inclination is I can find things that are wrong because that's what runs a company. Is like that needs to be fixed, that needs to be fixed. That's what the theory is.
And by the way, what they do in terms of systems and meetings, cadence, et cetera, we're at 20 chairs, we do exactly the same thing.
Yep.
So there's no difference. The architecture's a little different, but we do the same thing.